So in today's lesson, we're going to learn all about using brushes in Procreate and creating contrast, creating shades and tones, which is a basic step in learning to paint and draw. Same thing with digital. Learning how to create contrast with these digital brushes is very important. All right, so you can also do them in different colors. So this one is in black and white, which when I'm teaching painting and drawing, the very first lesson is to do black and white color charts, painting and drawing. And it's the same thing for here. So at the end of this lesson, you're going to have an assignment, which is to do black and white. I said color charts. I meant shading chart. Black and white shading charts. Now, you know, you can keep it fun and use different colors. I'm all about keeping things light and fun these days, so you still get to see the textures, the different flavors of each brush. And you can see this one is in 3 different colors. All right. And this is the fresco brush, which I love so much. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So step 1, we're in the gallery. All right. And to start a new document, you're just going to, a new drawing, get a new canvas. You're going to click this plus and then click on screen size. All right. And now I'm always going to squinch this down just a little bit because I don't like when this is on top of the page. So here's our brushes tool, our brushes panel, and I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And we're going to start with painting. So you see we have all of these different brushes from inking, drawing, painting, artistic, calligraphy, airbrushing, textures, abstract, charcoals, elements, spray paints, materials, vintage, luminance, industrial, organic, and water. So let me go back through these again. So you have the painting ones. Well, I'll start with inking. And those are just basic lines and pen marks. You don't really paint with these. You do more detail work with these. Same thing with drawing. You can paint with some of these, but you like this one. You can paint with this one. And a few of the other ones, but also some of these like this one, you just, do some detail work. Now painting, now we're getting into the brushes that you use to actually paint. I use all of them pretty much, but this is the one I always go to. It's my go-to brush, acrylic. So you see all of them have different types of textures. Charcoals, of course, look like charcoal pencils, the texture on the page. I love going to spray paints. And all right, so splatter brushes, just really fun, like the effect as if you're flicking your paintbrush like that. Lots of different things. So we'll get through these one by one. Well, you'll get through them because you're going to have an assignment to complete a shade chart for all of them, a shading chart. So we're going to start. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have the brush that you want selected under the brush tool. So we're going to start with the acrylic brush. And then, you know what? Let me talk about that real quick. So we're going to, when you tap on your brush, once you have it pulled up in the brush panel, you can tap on it twice, and then you will be taken to all of these different options that allows you to change the spacing, the taper. The things that I change the most are the spacing, the taper. I like to keep all of my brushes kind of tapered on the end if I can. Some of them have this option, but they still don't taper. You can change the size of the brush. You can change the default opacity and a whole host of other things that I don't typically fool with, but sometimes when I'm trying to get a specific effect, I will come in here and mess with different settings and features. So this is something that you just want to play around with to see what different settings and features. And as we do projects, when we get into doing projects, we will come in here and change things. So you'll learn all of that. So let's begin. So the first thing I want to do is I squeeze this down a little bit because I always want to make sure this is not on top of it. And then we're going to raise the opacity all the way up. All right. And we're going to start here at the top because I'm going to try to put 3 on each page. Well, before we do, let's look at how the brushes just look. So that's the acrylic brush that we're getting ready to paint with. And I think I changed the spacing on this one. Let me put it back. I don't know what this is, puff. But let's go back up here. Let's change that spacing back. All right. So I'm just going dark to light and 2 fingers if you want to undo something. So dark to light. And all I'm doing right now is using pressure. So I'm doing hard pressure, then I'm raising my pressure. That's what's so beautiful about this. It is pressure sensitive. You can go dark to light, back to dark, right? All right, so undo. And now we're going to go ahead and start painting with it. Now, when I paint with regular traditional paint, I like to use a crisscross brush stroke. So that's the kind of brush stroke I'm going to teach you today. You can decide you want to just go side to side like this. But the brush stroke that I use is crisscross. And I'll tell you why as I'm working. So the first thing, you want to just start really dark. And we're going to use a crisscross brush stroke. And I'm going to drop the opacity a little. I'm going to drop it a little more. Oh, I don't like that. It's a little bit too dark for this section. Gonna drop it a little more. But I'm pressing hard, so that's why that came out so hard. I'm gonna drop it a little bit more. All right. So that's not a very smooth blend, but I just wanted you to see how to get from dark to light using the opacity slider. All right. Now, if you were painting, really painting, and you wanted to have a more beautiful gradual transition, let's try it again. So, oh, I gotta raise the opacity all the way up. So let's go. Let's try to make it nice and smooth, a beautiful blend. And drop it a little bit. Drop it a little bit more. And I'm even come back into it a little bit to make my transitions a little bit smoother. Even here, fix that transition a little bit. Drop the opacity a little bit more. And drop it a little bit more. And now I'm going back into it to blend it all a little bit better on very low opacity. So I'm just getting those areas that need a little bit more color. And there you have it. So always, I want you to label what you've done. You can go to an inking brush. We can use Inka. And we're just going to say painting brushes. We're going to say painting brushes. And I'm going to write acrylic. All right. This is the acrylic brush. So that's it. Then you're going to go back to the gallery. And we're going to create a new page. And now you're going to go back to the painting menu. And we're going to go to something that has a very different texture. Let's go to stucco. And we're going to do the same thing in black. So let me raise the size of my brush, raise the opacity all the way up. And I'm going to bring the size of this brush down a little tiny bit. So there we have it. I like that texture, very nice. Make that darker since we made this so dark. Then we're gonna drop that opacity a good bit. Try to use the same pressure, drop it down a good bit. And the reason why I said try to use the same pressure, because even if I'm here with the opacity low, if I press hard, I'm gonna get a darker brush. And I don't really want that, right? I want the same pressure I was using back here. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit more. And I'm crisscrossing, and I'm gonna drop it all the way down. Now, while I have this little opacity, I'm gonna just go back and see, all right, where can I fill it in? Where is it? What is it missing to make it a very nice, smooth transition? And don't forget to label your brushes, label your page. So this is painting brush, painting brushes. And I'm gonna do this one a different color since I didn't leave a lot of space. Let's go with green. Why not? That's fun. I'm gonna put stucco brush. All right, let's go to one more brush, and then you're gonna start working on your own. So let's go back to painting. Let's go to fresco, which is my favorite one. Gonna go to black, back here. And so I'm gonna, I'm gonna leave the size of the brush about there, but raise the opacity all the way back up. Opacity. And let's start. Oh, I love this brush. I don't know why. I'm gonna drop the size of the brush a tad bit. Drop the opacity. Drop it some more. Drop it a little bit more. All right, now you can see right in here, the transition is not as smooth. It looks just dark, then it jumps. So I'm gonna come back here and fill some of this in so the jump isn't so great. And there we have it. We're gonna go ahead and label it. So we're gonna go back to our brushes, go to inking, go to green. I even make it turquoise, why not? Just have fun. And call this, am I on the correct brush? Just double checking, Inca. And this was the fresco. Double tap to erase it. That's a little small, so I'm gonna put fresco brush. All right, and that's it. So that's how I want you to now create. I want you to choose 5 more brushes to experiment. 5 to 10 more brushes to experiment with textures. You can do them in different colors. Make sure you label your page and label the brush. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below and I will definitely respond. Peace.